Welcome to Working with Victims of Domestic Violence in the PFA Process. This is a training specifically for law enforcement professionals provided by Domestic Violence Services of Southwestern Pennsylvania. To begin, we discuss what is a protection from abuse or PFA order. In the state of Pennsylvania, a PFA order is a civil document issued by the court to protect a victim from future abuse. In order to file a PFA, one must be 18 years of age or older. If a person is under the age of 18, a parent or guardian may file on their behalf. Next, we ask, against whom can a victim file a PFA order? The answers would be a spouse or former spouse, parent of their child, their parents, their children, current or former sexual or intimate partners. This would also include dating relationships, or family members related by blood or marriage. When working with PFAs, we need to be clear on what is the definition of abuse. In this case, it would be causing or trying to cause physical harm with or without a weapon, putting someone in reasonable fear of serious bodily injury, holding someone against one's will or interfering with a person's freedom of movement, rape or sexual assault, and repeatedly stalking or harassing someone, causing that person reasonable fear of bodily injury. When defining abuse with regard to the PFA process, we emphasize bodily injury because verbal abuse, threats to take the children, and property damage, while abusive acts, do not themselves qualify for a PFA. So the next logical question may be, where does a victim go to file a PFA order? The answer is Domestic Violence Services of Southwestern Pennsylvania's Legal Advocacy Office, which is located in the basement of the Washington County Courthouse. A victim can file between the hours of 8 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. Monday through Friday. So now we can get into what exactly is the PFA process. After a client comes to DVSSP's office, our legal advocates will educate the client on the necessary criteria to file the PFA. If a client still wishes to proceed, DVSSP legal advocates will then help them complete any necessary paperwork, including a petition requesting that the judge grant them the PFA. After completing this paperwork, DVSSP will contact the PFA coordinator to meet with the client and ask them a few questions. After meeting with the PFA coordinator, the judge is contacted by DVSSP advocates, and a time is scheduled for the client to meet with the judge for an ex parte hearing. This all takes place during the course of one visit. So next we'll touch on a few things that the victim needs to know about filing a PFA order. First is that clients are served on a first-come, first-served basis. Second is that the PFA process can take some time, usually about 30 to 45 minutes to process the paperwork. It then depends on the judge's availability to coordinate the subsequent meeting. Next is that a client does not walk in and receive the PFA instantly. The judge will assess what has occurred and determine if they're going to grant or deny a temporary order. And last is if a temporary order is granted, a hearing is then scheduled within 10 business days that the client will have to attend. Moving on, we'll discuss two new orders as of July 2015, which are the Sexual Violence Protection Order and the Protection from Intimidation Order. So starting with the Sexual Violence Protection Order, or the SVPO, this can be filed if a victim has been involved in any incident of sexual assault. So an example of this would be a victim who is sexually assaulted by a coworker. There does not need to be a relationship between the plaintiff and the defendant as there does with the PFA order, although the process is very similar to filing for a PFA. The second order is the Protection from Intimidation Order, or a PFIO, and this is an order filed on behalf of a minor child against an adult. So an example of this would be a coach telling an athlete to do something or there may be consequences. This also cannot be filed against another minor child. This concludes our training on working with victims of domestic violence in the PFA process. If you would like any additional information concerning PFA orders, issues pertaining to domestic violence, or DVSSP services in general, please contact our office. Additionally, for a comprehensive list of all trainings available, or to schedule a presenter, contact the Legal Advocacy Office in your county for assistance at the following numbers. Or please feel free to visit our website at www.peacefromdv.org. Thank you.